What's in the stars and the cards for you ahead this week? Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you. I am coming from a different location. Hopefully you can hear and see me. Let me know when you hop on. Give me a quick hello. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always so great to have this time together at the beginning of the week to set the energetic tone, to set your intentions, and to really engage with the energy rather than it just life happening to you. Because one of the most wonderful things that I love to do during our time together is to give you explanations of why you might be picking up on certain emotions, feelings, thoughts, because it's not all you. You're not making it up. There are things going on all around you as an intuitive empath. It's easy to pick up on those things and it's easy to absorb them and feel like life just keeps hitting you wave after wave. But when you start to become more aware of these subtle energies through sacred practices and spiritual tools and know how to engage with them, all of a sudden you become the captain of your own ship, right? You take destiny into your hands and you dance with her. So welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that all these little places work. I'm going to try this again and we'll see. But in the meantime, I invite you to place your hand on your heart. As you place your hand on your heart, tune in to your breath. And I want you to become aware of the breath itself. And as you have your hand on your heart and you're tuning in, notice how the inhalation and the exhalation might not be quite even in breath or in length, rather. Just become gently aware. And I want to invite you to ask yourself, as you're becoming aware of this, because we're going to practice with the breath a little today, as you're in your heart space now, what is the most important thing that you need to know going into this week ahead? And we're going to just knock on the cards to clear their energy. And I shuffle them and we see who pops out. Rest. Your spirit is really longing for rest. So if you feel like you're just weary and worn thin, your heart has had it, this card is inviting you to rest. Now, one of the reasons I get goosebumps that I love this card so much for popping up is because we have a very special energy this week on Thursday, meaning the whole day, the moon is void of course. And we're going to really talk about what that is. But if you've been feeling stuck, if you're frustrated, like I just can't get anywhere, I can't make headway, decisions aren't being come to, why can't things get checked off my to-do list? Take a deep breath. We are in a building energy and we're working towards the full moon next week. But Thursday is a rest day for sure. So this whole week, the overarching energy of the week is saying, hey, let's just take a second and make sure that you are recharging your batteries fully. Because if you want to go out there into this world and make a difference and achieve and reach for your dreams, you're not going to be able to do so if you're feeling depleted. Just think about any time a battery is run down on any electronic device you use, it doesn't work as well. It's not as fast. It's not as sharp. The computer doesn't load as quickly. The same thing happens to us. And if we want to be aware of these subtle energies around us that are giving us direction and information on how to make the best, most informed decision, then we have to have our rest. So this week, we're really being encouraged to do that. And by the way, if we haven't met yet, my name is Irina Miller. I'm an astrologer, a spiritual life guide, what I call an energy alchemist. I have been studying these sacred practices for 3 decades. It is my joy to bring very unique energy recipes to you using a variety of techniques. I am a true lifelong student. I will certify, initiate, and study anything and everything I can in the spiritual world. And I tune into the people who come to see me and create unique energy recipes just for them, the spiritual empath, so that you can step into the life you were born to live. So without further ado, let's talk more about this week and why you might be feeling stuck or why you might be feeling a little bit frustrated. So let's start overarching energy of the week ahead. Now, the overarching energy is a building one. The moon is in what's called a waxing phase. So as we're waxing and getting more light in the sky, working towards the full moon next week, you might feel energy building. But now this is a curious one because it almost kind of feels to me like that overtired feeling where we feel like energized, And our body wants to go, but we're so tired. Like the mind is tired, or vice versa. The mind is wanting to go and the body's exhausted. It's tired and wired. So be careful of the stimulants you use this week. I laugh because I love my coffee. And just make sure that you're not leaning on things like coffee and sugar to just help you power through and be tough. You're being encouraged to manage your energy well this week. And energy is essentially breath. The yogis call it prana. Prana, our life force, it's our breath. So they have a whole practice around prana, pranayama, the breath work. And there's a beautiful meditative practice I learned many a moon ago where you become aware of the gap between the inhale and the exhale. And it's through that gap in the breath that you're actually able to enter a very incredible state of peace and calm. It's a pretty one. And I was thinking about that meditation. If we have time at the end, I'll guide you through it. But I was thinking about it as I was tuning into this week, because this week really feels like Monday through Wednesday is a big inhale. And then Thursday we get to it and it's a pause. And then Friday we go, exhale. So we'll play with that a little bit. Hello, Hannah. So glad you could join us live. Okay, so that's the overarching energy of the week. Just something to keep in mind to help you manage your energy well. The other things that I want to highlight, some big points of interest, I'll put it that way. We mentioned briefly already, moon void, of course, on Thursday. Now it actually starts Wednesday. And let me back up even. If you don't know what a moon void, of course, is, essentially what's happening is all of the planets up in the sky are having conversations with one another. It's called aspects. That's the astro geek term for it. But it's essentially conversations, like the moon meets up with Venus and has a little conversation about relationships and love and valuing yourself. The moon meets up with Saturn and it's like, okay, let's talk about responsibility and structure and discipline. And we have all these conversations. The planets are always talking to each other. But there comes a point where the moon stops having conversations and she's just kind of hanging out. She's floating. She's not aspecting any other planet. And so the moon is called void, of course. And it essentially means that she's resting. She's not doing any work. She's kicking back. She's relaxing. And we're encouraged to follow suit. I have a teacher who says, if the moon's not doing anything, you shouldn't be either. So when the moon is void, of course, it's similar to a retrograde in the sense of we don't want to make any big decisions, no big purchases, don't sign any contracts. It's a very reflective, meditative, spiritual kind of day or hour. They can be very short, minutes, seconds. They can be very long. So this one kicks off on Wednesday around 3:30 p.m., all day Thursday and into Friday morning. So at 5:30 a.m. Eastern, it comes out. So pretty much for most of us here on like Eastern Standard Time, Central and Pacific, my friends across the pond, you'll have it kind of when you're waking up, coming out of it. But for the most part, Thursday. I would encourage you as you're looking at your calendars this Thursday, if you have big projects you planned on working on with Thursday or trying to move forward, get ahead, just say, nope, I got to reschedule. Thursday's not a good day for big activities as far as trying to make large headway on projects, trying to start new things. Don't do these things. Making major purchases. Give yourself some time to say, you know what, Thursday's really that rest and recharge day. I don't know if I just still have her out. It's that I'm going to really refill my batteries and feed my soul or feed my spirit. And so, there's different ways of saying, like I think some people will say self-care, but it's not self-care, it's soul care or care for the soul. And you're looking to do things that light up your spirit because it is imperative in this world that we feed our spirit because that is part of what is connecting us to our faith, that optimism, that hope, that belief that there is something bigger than us out there, that we do have friends in high places looking out for us, our angels. Hello, Chrissy. Great to have you. So moon void, of course, Thursday. Take it easy. Make sure you put in or work in some relaxation time. Even if you're at work, you just know if I push, I can push, but I may not make the headway like I want, or I may have to do it again. So just be aware of that. Then Friday, things get a little bit busy. So we're looking at the big picture this week, and then we'll dive into the moon on each day. But Friday, Venus is really dancing in the heavens, and she's having conversations with a lot of different planets. And Venus is the planet of money, of value, of relationships, of beauty, of art, of music. And she stops by and she decides to have a conversation first with Uranus, who is a planet of surprise, sometimes chaos, sometimes unexpected, sometimes spontaneity. So you might have something that comes up spontaneously or a surprise encounter around love or relationships, friendships, beauty, maybe even money. Maybe there's an opportunity to make money or money comes your way. But know that Friday, I would say pay attention for opportunities that come your way. You're just on the lookout. Somebody comes into your world again, whether it's opportunity for a new friendship, job, work. You're just going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to pay attention. Venus is bringing me something quite sweet and beautiful. And it's also her day. Venus's day is Friday. And she also on Friday switches zodiac signs and she moves into Gemini. So she gets real flirty. Venus and Geminis are fun because Gemini is an air sign and they love to talk. They're very social. They're host with the most or hostess with the mostest. And so they like to, you think of the butterfly, right? Flip from conversation to conversation. They know how to be charming. They know how to really just make other people, I don't even know how to, and even though they're talkers, I do feel I have a Venus and Gemini in my life. I feel like they also know how to listen at times, which can be very magnetic and endearing. And then later on that evening, Neptune goes retrograde. So just like Mercury is going to go retrograde in a couple of weeks, any other planet we have up there also goes retrograde, not the sun, not the moon, but not that they're planets. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. Long story short, Neptune retrograde, what does that mean? It's a moment for you to pause and reflect, review, re-examine your spiritual life and your spiritual practices, to examine as well what and where you might have been deceiving yourself or have been deceived. It's also a time for you to go into an introverted space, deep reflection. And depending on where it is in your chart, things can change and shift personally for you. So deeper conversation for another time. But if you want to know exactly how these planetary movements are affecting you, then just hit reply to any of my emails or look at the links around this description box. You can always sign up for a reading. I am doing readings currently. Okay, let's break down the week day by day, moon by moon. We kick off with the moon in Virgo on Monday. And the beautiful thing about the Virgo moon is it's a chance to get things done. I love it. She helps us in moon in Virgo to be organized, to create the to-do list and to actually check them off. And what I'm going to do is just pull a card and ask, how can you make the most of this Virgo moon energy? And we see who pops up. I kind of see who jumps out of the deck. And 10 of Pentacles. I'm going to encourage you, begin with the end in mind. So where are you going? Are you looking for that happy picture of stability, of peace, of love, being with your family? You feel safe. You feel like we've got plenty of everything that we need. And we can relax and we can enjoy one another's company. So keep the big picture in mind. Where are you going? What do you want to accomplish? What is it actually going to take to get there? To be mindful of, sometimes I think, I love affirmations to a certain degree. I prefer mantras, and they are slightly different. Mantras are said in Sanskrit. Affirmations are said in our native tongue, and mantras said in Sanskrit is based on a language of sound. So it's making a deeper resonance and difference than just our native tongue. Because the sounds are meant to create and evoke particular openings and releases or stability within the mental, spirit, and physical body. So we can write a list, a to-do list, and say, I want to accomplish, let's say you're an entrepreneur and you're like, okay, I want to have this many people on my email list. I want to launch 4 times a year, every quarter. I want to make X amount of money, or I want to blah, blah, this. We can write all that down, and that can be a goal. But if it's missing the other backups to that, if it's missing the heart, if it's missing the spirit, if it's missing really the soul calling, then it's going to fall flat. We'll peter out somewhere along the way. We just won't have the energy for it. So this week it's saying, feed your spirit, begin with the end in mind, and take a real look at it on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level to decide, okay, well, if I want to achieve this in my business or this in my career, what does it mean for the other part of my life? So if I want that PhD, if I want, the corner office to C-suite, or if I want, a bajillion zeros after or in my bank account, no, right? No, that's cancel clear delete. We don't want zeros. We want I don't know how many ever commas, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. The thing is that you need to make sure you take into account, well, what does that mean for my family? Am I going to be able to spend time with them, or I'm going to have to be on the road traveling all the time? I'm going to have to be at my desk working to all hours. What does it mean for my own well-being? Am I going to be able to take care of my health if this is my larger picture? So Virgo moon can help you figure that out. Okay, Tuesday, moon still in Virgo. So how can you make that most? Ooh, we got a lot jumping out. Holy cannoli. Let me see what jumped out. Because when you have cards that jump out, you pay attention. So the Emperor jumped out, as well as, here she is, the Nine of Swords. And the Emperor reversed. Here's the thing, is the Emperor is an expert, but sometimes we can get in our own way when we know a lot about something because we're so close to the problem or the project. It's like you can't see the forest for the trees. So what I want to say about the Emperor being upside down is, yes, you have the expertise. Yes, you know what you're going. You may be a little bit too close to the issue. So take a moment to take that step back, take that rest before you go deeper, because you might end up in a state of anxiety or worry. This is the card where I really feel like we're waking up at 3 a.m. We're worried and anxious about all the things. How am I going to do it? How are things going to unfold? And Virgo, who's ruled by Mercury, can really fall into that trap of the mind racing and anxiety and worry. So what can you do to avoid that is trust. Judgment card. Trust that there's something bigger going on, and that when you follow that soul calling, when you ask your friends in high places, your angels, your guides, God, source, universe, for guidance, please give me a definite lead. Am I on the right track? What step do I need to take next? Then everything can shift and change. So begin with the end in mind. And really, I encourage you to keep that beginner mindset, even if it's something that you've done 100 times before and you're like, I know how to do this. We just soften a little bit, suspend what we know, suspension of disbelief, and we go into it a little deeper. Okay, so we get Monday and Tuesday, Virgo moon, and Wednesday, it's Libra moon. And this is also a first quarter moon. So there might come up choice points, decisions that you have to make. We're at a kind of turning point. This is right before the moon goes void, of course. So as you were working with the Virgo moon Monday and Tuesday, going through the paperwork, doing the admin, clearing the clutter, writing down maybe the plan of how will I achieve this? What steps do I need to take to build my dream? You might have come to a recognition or realization, oh my gosh, I do want to have success, but if success looks like this, and I have to work 80 or 90 hours a week and not have time with my family or not have time to take care of my own health, is it worth it? Maybe I need to change my dream a little bit. So it's just taking that into consideration. And Libra moon, Libra's striving for harmony or balance or equanimity. So the Libra moon's going to help you with that. And she's going to remind you, okay, we got to make some kind of decisions here because we need balance in our lives. And I tend to go to the word harmony because I feel like balance sometimes is a trigger word. It gets a bad rap and we're like, oh, like healthy life balance, whatever. But what we're really looking for is harmony, because balance isn't always, apples to apples. It might be some days we spend, 10 hours at the desk, and another day we don't work at all. I have a friend, she works 4 days a week to get her 40 hours in, 4 days of 10 hours, and she has her Fridays off. And that's a wonderful thing. And that might be for her a great life balance. And for others, maybe not so much so. Okay, so how can you make the most of Wednesday's energy? Oh, I love it. This is the balance card. It's the 6 in the major arcana, which represents harmony, beauty, balance. And the Lovers is about finding the sweet spot, essentially. What helps you feel whole? It is a choice point, though, too. Oh, I love how this worked. Isn't that so cool? The angels are with us. It's a choice point. You're being given a choice, and there's a decision to be made. Now, remember, we're right before the moon void, of course. We don't want to make decisions from like 3:30 p.m. Wednesday afternoon into Thursday, Eastern time. So at the beginning of the day, you might be presented with certain choices, and you might not be able to you wait on those choices, in the sense of don't wait till the end of the day, but make some kind of decision. You don't have to hold fast to it, but you're going to be presented with an opportunity on Wednesday. And I always think of this a little bit like, I feel like this is the card that, depending on the choice we make, we either go towards the devil energy, where we feel like, oh, I've entrapped myself. Like, just think about, we were celebrating last night. We went out to this wonderful Thai restaurant, and I ordered something that I don't usually order, and I just enjoyed it so much. So rather than the super healthy version, I ordered, like, the not so maybe healthy version. It was delicious. I enjoyed every bite. But I got to a choice point where I was like, maybe I'll only eat half of it and I'll save the other half so I don't get a tummy ache, because they give such nice big proportions. And I was like, no, I'm going to get home and I'm going to want more, like, just enjoy it. Go for it. And I'd skipped lunch. And so I thought, you know what? I'm so hungry. I don't think it's going to make my tummy hurt and I'm going to be overly full. I'm going to just eat every bite and enjoy it. So it's a choice point. But sometimes we get those choice points like, don't you want one more cookie? Don't you want one more bite? And then we end up with a tummy ache and we've hurt ourselves. That could be like the devil card energy. It's nothing outside of ourselves that's acting on us. It's a temptation coming from the outside. Yes, I really feel, but it's up to us to make the choice. Do I indulge? Do I go for it? Or do I say, you know what? I've been here before and I've eaten too much and I've gotten the tummy ache or I felt really sick. I'm going to pause. I know myself. And then I can come back to it later if I want to. So hopefully that makes sense. But be mindful with the opportunities that present on Wednesday, because the choices you make are going to lead you down one of two roads. At least there's always more than two options, but it can lead you down a road where you feel like, oh, this feels great. Like we end up with the beautiful card of equanimity and harmony. And you might end up there, or you might end up feeling like, oh, I've just trapped myself. I feel sick or I feel stuck now. Just be mindful. Okay, then it leads us into Thursday, when the moon is void, of course, all day long. So no big decisions on Thursday, no signing of any contracts, no making any major purchases. Rest, reflect, and just enjoy the day as much as you can, feeding your spirit, recharging your batteries. And how can you make the most of Thursday's energy? Something new is happening. So you have the Fool card. It's the beginning of the journey. She's getting ready to take a leap of faith. And I always giggle because growing up, I was always told, look before you leap, Irina. Why can't you just look before you leap? Because my nickname was Calamity Jane. And I come by that naturally. You can see it in my natal chart. Accident prone, but I'm taught myself how to look before I leap. So the Fool card, she's getting ready to leap. She's getting ready to jump into this beautiful sacred geometric symbol, the seed of life, where all the other sacred geometric shapes can be formed from. She's got her beautiful amethyst crystal. So spirit is there with her. She's connected and she's tuned in, trusting that if she takes the leap, she'll be catched. It'll all work out. Think about this week and the guidance that's come through so far. We started off with that 4 of Swords, which is rest, 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 rest. Feed your spirit. You're getting ready for a new journey. And before you go on a new journey, like if you've got a 10-hour drive ahead of you, you want to get a good night's rest. So strengthen up your reserves, emotional, physical, mental, and emotional. Make sure you have the energy to live your dream, right? There was a fitness quote, something like, this body has to be strong enough to live my dreams or make my dreams happen. Think of it the same way for your spirit, for your emotions, for your mind, in order to live the life you're meant to live. So Thursday build into that because you're on the precipice of something really exciting and new. Okay, Friday. How can you make the most of Friday's energy? And hello, Jasmine. So glad you could be here live with us. Okay, how can you make the most of Friday's energy? See who pops up. Woo. So the planner. So now we're moving from that state of, all right, begin with the end in mind, maybe reverse engineer that Virgo moon on Monday and Tuesday. What do I have to do to actually build my dream? And is it something that I'm really willing to invest in? Into the energy of the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is big picture for sure. So now what you've kind of built into the week so far, as you come to Friday, he's saying, let's put this into perspective. We're going to look at this very logically in the sense of we're not going to let emotions sway us, but we're tucking away our hearts for a moment and we're looking at it from a practical sense. We're looking at it as an observer. What is this going to take? I also want to encourage you to be aware for any inklings or intuitive insights that come your way. It's cool because with Venus and Gemini, Geminis are talkers. And I really feel like you can get information out of Geminis. Everything has a high vibrational expression and a lower vibrational expression. And the Gemini energy, they like to talk. I mean, Libras like to talk, right? We're full of hot air. Any air signs, and this card really represents air with the swords, information is being shared. And this card can represent like Thor's father, Odin, who had his two crows, Odin and Munin, who flew around the world. They gathered information and they brought the information back to him. So like all the secrets, all the information, all the data, all the latest gossip, they brought that back to Odin. So he found out what was going on. I want to encourage you, keep your ears open on Friday because you might have insights and information that come your way that affect, or there's a word I'm looking for that I can't quite reach. That flavor, what's a word that I want? Oh, it'll come. But anyway, there's information that might come through on Friday that might help you in that big picture visioning that affect your choices that you're making in the future. And it could be something as simple as, let's say you were looking to build an app about something and you realized, oh my gosh, with the way AI is moving so quickly, I could build this app and it'll be outdated, right? It'll fall flat. But I almost feel like it's like an insider tip to a certain degree. And when you're tuned into your intuition, it is kind of like getting legal insider informations. Jasmine, yes, happy 4th of July on Friday. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. So all of our friends here in the States and those friends across the world who celebrate 4th of July, maybe your expats, happy Independence Day. It's a great time to be together. Have an amazing week, Hannah. Okay, so let's talk about Saturday and Sunday before we wrap up. Saturday, let me just double check. Oh, I got so excited about Friday's energy. Friday. Oh, we didn't talk about Friday yet. Holy cannoli. Friday, the moon moves into Scorpio. Did I say that? We pulled a card for Friday. Didn't we? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let me just talk about the Scorpio moon on Friday for a second. Scorpio moon can be a bit obsessive in the sense of they get fixated on something and they just can't stop until it's accomplished. And it's very fascinating to me, the Scorpio moon energy, because at first I was like, no, words like compulsive or obsession or obsessive, they seem really intense and heavy. And yes, they are. And so when someone said to me with all my Scorpio placements, they're like, oh, you can be compulsive. And I said, no, not me. And then I kind of looked at that word a little bit more and I got to know it and understand it. And I thought, oh, I see what they're talking about. So watch for the energy on Friday. If you get fixated on something, like you're just scrolling mindlessly on TikTok or you're going down the Google rabbit hole, like, oh, and this and this and this, or you're like, you're focused on something that really in the big picture isn't helping you, take a moment to pause and say, wait a second, is my energy best spent here? Because like I might end up, like an example would be like the weeds that grow between like the little bricks in my garden area. Like sometimes I get so fixated, just like I got to get every single one. I'm going to pull them all up or I'll weed whack them. And it's a little ridiculous. It's like, okay, that's good enough, or don't go crazy. It'll be fine. We can just fixate on things like that. It's like, is this really the best use of my time right now? And sometimes it is. It's a meditative practice for me as well. I love spending time outside. Okay, so how can you make the most of Friday's Scorpio moon? King of Pentacles. So I love that we got the 2 court cards, the 2 kings. He is really saying pay attention to the details as well. And I don't know if I pulled that King of Swords for Thursday or Friday. Please forgive me. I'm definitely in channeling mode, not keeping track. But King of Pentacles, bringing in the energy to help you on Friday, says, you know what? Again, it's that investment. Where are you placing your investments? Where are you placing your energy, your resources, which is time, love, money? What are you valuing? It's like where your treasure is, there your heart is also, kind of energy. So maybe it is in making your home beautiful. The Venus energy, she's moving into Gemini. You might find that you want to dress up and be with your friends and have conversations and go out and enjoy yourself. Venus, she likes that. She loves her beauty. She loves to enjoy life. All right, the finer things in life. Saturday moon still in Scorpio. How can you make the most of that energy, especially if it's feeling a little overwhelming? King of Swords pops back up. So we're kind of bouncing back and forth from this energy of, let's bring in the wisdom of what you know from having walked your path and lived your life, as well as experts in your life. If you feel like you're getting too close to a problem or situation and you can't see clearly, bring someone else in to get a second pair of eyes on the situation. Back in my days when I coded, it was very interesting. We didn't really have it. I was kind of Wild West. I was part of like late 90s, early aughties with coding. And it was not a fun scene to be a part of. Not for me anyway. Anyway, long story short, I'm sidetracking. They didn't have a second pair of eyes, but you'd look at a piece of code for hours and hours and hours and think, where did I make the mistake? What happened? And if you could get a second pair of eyes to look at it, they'd look at it and they'd say, oh, here's where you went wrong. This was funny. I had some of my astrology friends, they were running a chart and they're like, this new moon chart's all wrong. Why isn't it working? And they were bouncing it back and forth. And they said, the dates, date looks good. The placement looks good. This looks good. And I looked at it and I realized that it was run for the year of 25, not 2025. And so one little mistake like that, or mistypo, like a typo essentially, can change the data completely. But when you get a second pair of eyes, fresh eyes, they can see it. Even though all of these women are incredible experts, they know their stuff backwards, forwards, inside, and out. They're little things like that. So Saturday, maybe you get the expert eyes on whatever you're doing in case you've been too close to the situation. Sunday moon is still in Scorpio, and we're going to just ask, how can you make the most of that energy? And 2 cards are really wanting to come out for this. So you've got the 4 of Wands, which is make sure you have time to celebrate, have fun, enjoy the stability and the foundations that you've built in your life, and celebrate, have some fun. And it's a holiday weekend here in the States. And up pops the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, here she is. My camera's backwards today for me. Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is awesome. She's the how do I want to say? She's the feminine energy that represents the similar one of King of Pentacles that came up. She knows what she's doing. She knows where things are. She knows what's going on in her queendom. So this is a week about details. It's about keeping the big picture in mind. It's about paying attention and being an observer and saying, where am I investing myself, time, energy, money-wise? Don't just leap and run into things. Take a moment to pause. Take a moment to feel into it, to chew on it, digest it. Use Thursday for that. Okay. I hope you have an incredible, incredible week ahead. If you have questions, pop them in the comments below. If this has been helpful, please do hit like, love, subscribe, share it with a friend. It's so very helpful. And I'm so appreciative of you spreading this energy and the insights and information about the week ahead. And until we meet next Monday, 9:30 a.m., I want to share, I realized I didn't share this time. If I can, I'll type it in. I'm in a different setup because I'm hanging out here at my dad's house, arinamiller.com/get calm. And I'm going to just put that up there. So if you have a chance and you want to do a little grounding meditation, this is a good one. irenamiller.com/getcalm. Thank you, Hannah. Many blessings to you across the pond. Much love to you. And what joy to be able to come together all around the world and just celebrate and connect in spirit. I hope you have an incredible week wherever you are, whatever you do. And remember, trust your vibes, follow your heart, and mwah, I'll catch you here next week. Bye, guys.